Hello, YouTubers. This is Eddie Coleman and Randy Burns. We would like to talk to you today about a mistake that you read about on YouTube a good bit about a 300 blackout jamming up in the cylinder of the gun, and in the bolt carrier group, you can't get it to come back out without struggling and really hitting hard on the bolt carrier on the charging handle to get this bullet back out. And it just so happened that when I reloaded these, I didn't have a Wilson case gauge, and I've already modified about 300 that I've done, and I'm down to the last 10, and I thought this would be a real good time to show you what's happening if you can't get your 300 blackout back out of your chamber. And if I drop this 300 into this Wilson 300 blackout gauge, case gauge, you can see that there's about 4 or 5 thousandths sticking up there, just a little bit. You wouldn't think that that would be a problem, but it is. And when I take this out, and I'm going to show you here in just a minute, I'm going to drop one that I've already done in here, and you can see now that it's nice and flush. It's not anything sticking up at all. You can't drag your fingernail over it. So that's the way it should be. And the way it is, though, one more time, is when you drop this in, you got a fingernail catch right here, and it's just 3 or 4 thousandths, and that'll cause your bullet to hang up in the chamber, and it's very, very difficult to get out. So what I'm going to do is show you how to fix these so they won't do that. So what we have to do, we have to visit with our inertia bullet remover, and it's going to be a little bit loud. I'm just going to go do 10 and show you how this is done, and it don't take but a few minutes to have this fixed correctly. After we put our bullet in, get it good and tight, I'm going to come over here on a steel table, whack it a couple of times, and then the inertia of that stop caused the bullet to come out. With that bullet out now, I can dump my powder and my bullet over in this tray, and what we'll do is we'll just stack these right here till we get all 10 of them done. So we will go ahead and do these over and over and over, and hope it's not too repetitious. I feel it vibrate when it comes loose, so that the bullets come out, and the powder and the bullet is in here, and so I just shake it out into here. And I have a basket here that I just shake, and that separates the bullet from the powder, and then the powder is in the pan. So that's the way I do it, and I don't make a mess, and I don't lose any powder that way. I continually load the little hammer. You want this down real nice and tight, and it doesn't vibrate at all right now. Another thing I've done is a tip. I put some foam rubber down inside here so that when I hit this and the bullet, when it does come out, that foam rubber catches it and doesn't bend the tips of my bullets. There's no way that this can go off. This is a live primer, but the primer never gets hit, and that's why this is way you do that, so that you don't have a bullet accidentally go off on you. You can see here that the primer is open, and it can't get hit. When I'm coming down, the inertia, it drives the bullet down away from the primer. It's just a little bit repetitious. It doesn't take but just a few minutes to have all these knocked out. I have 5 more to go. We're going to pause here so we won't bore you to death. Okay, we're back, and I'd like one more, and I'm going to slow down to show you how this bullet is placed in this inertia hammer. And what you do is you take the little grommet here, stick it in the hole, and it expands and then slides over and locks in right at the top of the case. Then you drop the whole thing into your hammer. Take the Acme nut, screw her down, and then it's tight, and now it's ready to hit. When it's loose, you can feel it flopping in there. Now that it's out, then pour it all out. Now we have our powder separated from our bullets. Our bullets are good; they're not hurt at all. And then our powder is caught in the tray, and we'll dump that back into our powder measure here in just a second. But now we'll go to our press, and all we have to do is make sure that this die is kissing the top of the shell plate, and just a quarter turn more will ensure that that the die presses all the way down to the shell plate, and that will keep that'll make your case go into your chamber without it sticking. To show you what I'm talking about, you can't see the bullet now if I turn it parallel. You can see it only if I bring it this way, but there is no fingernail catch here now because it's nice and flush, and that's what it takes. So we'll do that. We'll do that again until we get them all done. Before I reload these, I'll check each one of them in the case gauge, and then we'll know for sure we don't have to relick these again. This is just a standard 300 blackout die. And if you just get it real tight, kiss it off real tight, you'll never have a problem. Some people will buy what they call a low base die to do this, but you can still accomplish the same thing with this die if you just get it a little bit tighter. And I would recommend that you do it in a single stage press, because you could easily split your aluminum turrets if you tried it in a little turret machine. Okay, we have all these done now, and now I'll check them all, and they're just super flat, and that's what you want. Yeah, that will not stick in a chamber now. You can't check this if you don't have a gauge. So if you're reloading, by all means, if at all possible, get you a gauge. If you don't have a gauge, you can always use your rifle barrel as a gauge, but this is so much easier. If they fit in this gauge correctly, they'll fit in your gun correctly. So we see that these are all correct. And now to speed this along, what I do is I take my cases now and my powder over to the AP press. I have my bullets. I pour my bullets out. This is my powder. I'll put my powder back in the measure, being careful not to spill it. Now then, I made a mistake, and we all make mistakes. So this is how this mistake is corrected. And now then, I'm starting back. And so what I'll do is I'll take the bullets that I've resized, and they're correct now, and I just put them in the AP press, and they already have the primer in, their size, so I can go directly to the powder station, and then that's where we'll start. And so right here is where we'll start putting the powder in. I've already measured the correct grains of powder, so this will go along. And then all I'm doing now is putting the same bullet back in the same case. When it falls out, it's complete, and then we'll check those in just a minute, but they will be correct. You can see the AP press is a much faster way to go than using a conventional single stage or a small turret press. Knock these out really, really quick. I'll show you the length of this here as soon as we get these completed. It's always a good idea to learn on a single stage press or a small turret press, and then graduate on up to a automatic press, and you'll have a better understanding of how everything works if you'll progress that way. If you start directly with a progressive, it may be a little bit more learning curve that way. Not saying that you can't do it, it's just a little bit harder to learn that curve. Okay, that's all of them now. I'm going to check it for length. It's supposed to be right at 250s, 246, which is great. And then I drop it in here just one more time. You can see it's nice and flush. It will not have any problem. It's not sticking, and that's what we want. This is Eddie Coleman saying so long, and hope you'll like us. Give us some feedback if you wish. We're glad that you take the choice of coming and visit with us, and we hope to see you again at the next time. Thanks. Bye.